Hello, this is Dr. Roboto with the sleepers and duds for 2018. So without further ado, let's just get into it. I like to click on latest news to get started, but you can also click up top. This says 2017, but that is incorrect. It is 2018. So click on cheat sheet, Robocheat up top, and then Robocheat for the full season cheat sheet as opposed to Robocheat weekly. So right off the bat, we're going to take a look at the running backs, and the first thing you want to look at in any sleeper dud analysis is this number right here, not there, right here. Let me circle that for you. Boom. That's the delta. The WUP and the ADP, when you add them or get the difference between WUP and ADP, you get the delta. So ADP of James White is 131. His WUP is 127. That's a delta of 126 in green. Green means that is a huge sleeper pick. Now James White, of course, may or may not get the position. He's competing with Rex Burkhead, Sony Michel. So it's the typical three-headed monster in New England. So that's going to be a tough one to hold on to. But if you handcuff the top two running backs, you should be good in the draft. So that's a giant sleeper. You'll be able to pick him up. The WUP is 127. So probably, in 10th round or something like that, you can get James White. You're also going to have to look for Rex Burkhead and Sony Michel and just figure out some way to hold on to the New England running back position, and you'll be happy. Now, when I look down this list, I look for red and green, and I see Saquon Barkley's maybe a bit of a dud. Gurley maybe is a bit of a dud. Le'Veon's really not going to exceed expectations. So not a lot of sleepers and duds here in the running back position. Ezekiel looks like a little bit of a dud right there. And Rex Burkhead, of course, we just talked about. So in the top ranks of the running backs, I'm not seeing a lot of sleepers and duds. Of course, got to go down kind of far to take a look through the list. I'm just looking for red and green and not seeing a whole ton. And we've gone through quite a few already. So let's move on to quarterbacks. A little bit slow to load. It's a busy time of year. Okay, Russell Wilson at the top of the list. Big sleeper. Let me zoom in. Well, it's right here. So you see the delta, 30 in green. That means he's 30 picks better than what his ADP is according to Robocoach. So he's somebody you want to grab, and you can wait until pick 56 to get him. That's a great deal. So don't let him slip by you. So you're going to get the New England running back position and Russell Wilson. And let's take a look at the rest of the list. We got Aaron Rodgers, kind of a dud, just a little bit under expectations. Dak Prescott, big sleeper. So if Russell Wilson gets by you, you can get Dak with at 140. Pick 140. Lots of quarterbacks. In general, quarterbacks, tight ends, wide receivers are all sleepers because running backs are so overdrafted that you can get those other positions for a great value. So there's more green here than in the running backs. Blake Bortles looks like another good sleeper. Let's take a look down here. Kirk Cousins may be a dud. Deshaun Watson may be a dud. Cam Newton, dud. And that's about it for QBs. Let's move on to wide receivers. A little bit slow again. Apologize for that. The servers are being slammed at this time of year. All right, well, right off the top of the bat, let's take a look. We got Antonio Brown, a little bit of a sleeper. Now, once again, all the wide receivers are going to be a bit of sleeper because running backs are always a little bit of a dud. So I'm not seeing any really big sleepers in this top list. Nothing too earth-shattering. DeAndre Hopkins may be a mild dud. You can see here. I don't want to see any red when I'm in non-running back positions, and I see a little bit of red, so I would avoid DeAndre if I were you. But it's not terribly bad. Let's take a look down the list a little bit. Paul Richardson in Washington, if he can hold on to a starting spot, he's somebody you can target in later rounds. You know, there's value in the Washington wide receivers, so you just got to make sure you get the right guy who's going to end up being the starter in the first and second slot. Marquise is injured now, so he's not as much as a sleeper as this would say. Devontae Parker in Miami, another sleeper. Might want to go after him. These are all guys you can grab in really late rounds. Let's take one more page down here. Kenny Stills looks like a decent sleeper. So those Miami wide receivers and Washington wide receivers are available. You just got to figure out which ones to grab. But if you can hold on to those positions, then you're good. Antonio Brown, Julio, AJ, Michael Thomas will all meet expectations for you this year. All right. I think that's about all we can say about wide receivers. No huge duds, and maybe a few sleepers in Miami and Washington. And tight ends, I expect to be all green because they're always undervalued every year. Oh, you know what? This may not be the server. This may be my bandwidth. I'm doing this off-site. Okay, so we've got Zach Ertz, pretty good sleeper, 30. Although that's what I sort of expect at tight end at the top of the list. I want numbers. I want at least deltas of 20 for a tight end. So I see a delta here of 30. That's pretty good. His WUP is 41. His ADP is his ADP is 45, and his Robo DP is 15. Difference of 30. So he's 30 positions behind what Robo thinks his value is. And Travis Kelce, also a little bit of a sleeper, although I'd like to see that a little higher. Here's Luke Wilson. There's a lot of value in the tight end position at Detroit. I don't know if Luke is going to get all those points. I'll have to double check that because this has got him at depth of 4 right now. I think that may be a data problem. I'll have to fix that. Doesn't look right. Jordan Reed, pretty good sleeper. Jack Doyle, pretty good sleeper. A lot of value here. Where is Gronk? Yeah, he's our only one that looks like, I would say any red at a tight end is a dud because I want these numbers to be green for tight end. And Gronk is not going to meet expectations for what you're going to pick him at. His ADP is 22. His Robo DP is 24. He's not achieving that sort of value. His WUP is 24. Wait until pick. Probably going to pass on Gronk. I mean, but if he's still there, I would definitely grab him. He's a stud. He's just not a sleeper. Defenses and kickers. Let's see what we got. Huge, all in green. You can see defenses are always undervalued. They're some of the highest performing for fantasy, but they never are some of the highest drafted. So the LA Chargers, big delta. Philadelphia and Seattle are in the top tier. And remember, the tiers, these teams are essentially equivalent, so all three, any one of the three you'd be fine with. And then here's your second tier. Not bad. These guys, all in green. Maybe Jacksonville and Minnesota are a little bit overrated. I want a bigger number here than 3. I want, Seattle appears to be very much underrated. Okay, and now I don't even know that you want to talk about kickers, but let's take a look. Janikowski. Interesting. 100 delta between his RoboDP and his ADP for Seattle. That sounds pretty good. He looks like a decent sleeper. You can grab him around 13 or something like that, with your last pick, maybe 14. And other kickers are probably going before him. Phil Dawson, Harrison Butker, Matt Bryant, all decent values that you can snag with your last pick in the draft. That's about it. Okay, thank you for tuning in to the 2018 Sleepers and Duds. This is Dr. Roboto signing off. Please subscribe. Thanks.